Welcome back to the channel. In this video we are doing a review of Watch Dogs Legion. What I'm going to do is in the background I will just have some standard free roam gameplay for the entirety of the video because I really don't want to ruin any of the story. Before we get into anything, I just want to point out that I do have some negatives. It's not all positive with this game, although they are minor negatives. There is one thing I refuse to talk about. I'll tell you at that point because I've kind of written down a list of notes. And then the rest is all positives. And this is what I've thought of off the top of my head from my playtime. I'm about 15-20 hours into the game right now. So starting off with the negatives to get them out of the way. And just quickly before we get into it, I do have to thank Ubisoft. They gave me an early key for this game. But just for those of you that are new around the channel, know that if I do get given a game, I'm still always going to be completely honest with my opinion towards a product I've received. So just because they gave me a key, I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I'm not going to do anything like that. I will tell you exactly how it is. I've always done that on the channel. I always will. That's never going to change. I will always keep it 100%. So jumping into the negatives, there are a couple of bugs in the game. There was a hotfix that was deployed on the release day, and that hotfix it fixed like a load of crashes, and there was some dodgy mechanics in the game on PlayStation as far as I'm aware. But they put out a hotfix that fixed a lot of that stuff across all platforms. The only problem with that, because that is a positive towards the game, the only problem is that there are still crashes occurring on Xbox One, although they are nowhere near as often. Ever since the hotfix, I have only had the game crash, I think it was 3 times, and most of my playtime is after that hotfix. Next up, my opinion, there could have been a much better perk variety, like trait variety on your characters. And I believe they could have put a few more different types of vehicles and stuff in the game. I just think it possibly could have been even bigger than what it currently is. Next up is the fact that online is not available. It was not available at launch, despite the game being delayed for like an entire year. Although it is dropping December 3rd, there will be 4-player co-op, there's going to be some PvP, there's going to be different missions and stuff. It will be really cool. But I do feel after the delay, online definitely should have come with the game at launch. And then the final thing on the list of negatives, after around 10 to 15 hours in game, I noticed that there aren't too many recruitment missions. However, it's pretty much the only sort of copy-paste thing I've seen that's irritating. But at the end of the day, you also have to think, would you sit there making over 9 million unique mission types? Because there are over 9 million, recruitable characters in this game. I don't think the game would have been released within the next 100 years if they had to make over 9 million unique missions. But I do feel they could have possibly made at least a few more. There are a couple of missions I've done now that are exactly the same as others. So next up is the thing that I refuse to talk about. I am not talking about accents and realism, because they are not supposed to be a key factor in this game. Yes, they might seem a bit generic and some of the voices sound off, but I'm just basing this review on the fun factor of the game, and if it's worth the money you will pay for it, or if it's not worth the money. If this game was supposed to be realistic, you wouldn't have the majority of London driving itself around. There are cars that do not have people driving them. There's also a lot of drones. You wouldn't have that sort of stuff in a realistic sort of setting in London. And then we move on to something that I wasn't really going to add in, and I'm going to put it in the middle, so it's between the positives and the negatives because it can be seen on either side. That is the fact that there is a permadeath option. It definitely 100% adds to the immersion of the game. You will get attached to your characters a lot more, but at the same time, permadeath does mean if you do something wrong, the big enemy faction in the game come after you, they kill your character has gone forever. You can never ever get them back. You might be able to recruit someone similar, but you'll never have that exact same character again. So if you do lose one of your favourite characters in the game, and permadeath is on, you're going to be incredibly angry. I did some Beekeeper gameplay, I had just unlocked him, had permadeath on, almost lost him on the very first recruitment mission I ran to kind of show off that character type. It's very, very sort of scary, sketchy, you definitely change up your playstyle if you run permadeath. So it's negative because you're losing characters you might be attached to, or you might just like playing with them characters. You will lose them permanently, but then it's positive because it changes the way you play the game It adds to more immersion, and it kind of makes you more wary about what you're doing, so you're not just running around like a headless chicken. So now, on to the positives. This game is a hell of a lot of fun. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. I've had so much fun on this game. There is so much to do. There's some cool mini games. You've got darts, football, you can do courier jobs. There are over 9 million people to bump into, analyse them, and then potentially recruit them for your team. You can actually use every single person in the game if you do the missions that are required to unlock them as a playable character and recruit them onto your team. There are different abilities and stuff. You have all these different job types. There is a lot, and as I said, I'm like 15-20 hours in, and I've spent a lot of my time just roaming around doing whatever I fancy doing, and not at one single point have I thought, oh, I can't be bothered to play this game. And at the same time, I'm literally thinking, like when I'm doing work and stuff and I'm not at like my computer playing the game, I'm thinking, I can't wait to get on Watch Dogs, I want to try this, try that. There's a lot of different stuff in the game. Auto drive, very simple mechanic, but I do like it. If I've got my dinner and I'm playing the game, I can literally just set a waypoint to somewhere. If I've got a mission that's the other side of the map, set the waypoint. A lot of the cars in the game, not all of them, but a lot of them have auto drive. You simply press one button. It's going to try its best to acknowledge sort of traffic lights and pedestrians crossing the road and stuff, and it will just drive you to your destination. I really, really like that feature. From what I have played of the story so far, and this is not spoilers, but from what I have played, it's pretty cool. There's some twists and turns. It's not the greatest story, but it's not the worst. And as I said, this game, if you take it seriously, you're going to be disappointed. It's a game to just mess around. It's like a Saints Row sort of thing. Like a GTA open world. Like, you're literally just there to mess around and have fun. Don't take this game too seriously. Trust me, you'll end up incredibly disappointed. But yeah, there's twists and turns and stuff in the story. From what I've played so far, it's pretty good. It definitely starts picking up with more action and a better understanding of the actual story when you get further into it. There are different regions in the game. They will become defiant. They start off oppressed, but they will become defiant when you do certain things, and they will unlock new skilled characters. So with the regions, it kind of feels like Saints Row 2, where you'd capture all the different regions and it would basically lower the amount of enemies you see. It's more like friendly control rather than enemy, and I don't see a bad thing with that at all. I actually like the way they've done it, especially having a reward for doing it. You're revealing checkpoint locations, you're unlocking new characters and stuff. You can pretty much do whatever you want to do in this game. If you wanted to run open world activities, go run open world activities. It's all just chill. You can go find some amazing recruits. The game will actually pinpoint some for you that will oftentimes have better traits than just random people you're going past in the street or something. You can just go round and build up notoriety with the main enemy, which is called Albion. You can have really long pursuits, being chased and hacking stuff and shooting. There's a lot to do in this game. It's however you want to play it. And I know this game's not going to be for everyone, but I love it because of the fun factor in the game. If one day I feel like logging on and just obliterating all of Albion, as many people as I possibly can, until my character gets put in hospital, I can go do that. If I want to just roam around and look at the scenery and check out London, I can do that. It doesn't guide you on this path that you have to follow. You're free to do whatever you want to do. Literally, when I started the game, I spent about half an hour playing the story when I was able to play the game, and about 4 hours of messing around. And I've kind of saved the main story for stream, and then I do open world stuff and try and find hidden things and everything in my own spare time. So I've already got 5 or 6 different ways to play the game in my head, and I just do whatever I want whenever I want. The game is very open to letting you choose. There are huge amounts of replayability in this game, because you can start the story as many times as you want. You can literally recruit whoever you want. Army of grannies with AKs, anyone? There's literally so many options. You've got the grannies that have AKs. You've got characters that are flatulent, so they're farting and their stealth is a lot lower because they might get heard. You also got stealthy people that hiccup all the time, so they're not going to be the safest bet to take into missions. You can literally start the game as many times as you want to go with all these different character types and just try what you want to try, do some crazy stuff. There's also, because of the different character styles and different character types, there's a lot of mission diversity due to some of the recruits making things easier or making them harder for you. I will actually at some point have a tier list for the different character types in the game. I'll probably end up doing a top 5 or something like that Obviously, there's a lot more characters that I wouldn't be able to go through by the time I make that video, but it's still going to be something cool because there are some characters that will really make it hard for you to do what you want to do, and there are some that will make it stupidly easy. Another thing that I really like is that there is a choice of general difficulty, so you can't go and do a recruitment mission and make it a lot harder for yourself or make it easier. They just have a base difficulty. But the game itself will have a general difficulty that you choose at the start, whether you want to play easy, normal or hard. So if you want to, you can get really into the game and not have such an easy time. Or if you want to, like I am, just sit back, chill, have a laugh, have a good time playing the game. And then another thing I like is when you free up the regions, you make them defiant and you unlock the skilled operatives, they're not always the same person. You'll have exactly the same perks for each of the characters from player to player, but the character is random. So you might get different clothing types, you could possibly have different masks. I don't know how much depth it goes into, but I know that the characters are random. So not everyone's going to have exactly the same looking beekeeper when they unlock them, and I think that's really cool as well. And a couple of things I'd like to throw in there just right at the end. Yes, you can drive the double buses, you can drive boats, you can hack drones and fly them around, and yes, you can actually recruit a royal guard to your team. Unfortunately, the Queen isn't in the game, the Prime Minister's not in the game, it doesn't go that far, but there's a lot of different stuff. Police officers, Albion officers, Clan Kelly members, loads of different people, video game designers, models, I don't know, like famous actors and actresses. There's loads of different types of people. They all have these different sort of traits. There's not a huge amount of diversity within the traits to the characters. I mean, like, if there's a list of how many traits are in the game, I'd say roughly, like off the top of my head, just a random amount, just pure example, just say there's 20 traits. Then you'll have over 9 million characters, all look different names and stuff. And you could have one that has 3 of those 20 traits and another would have 2, and then some of them will be mixed around, and it's just crazy. There are endless possibilities of the different recruits available, how you play the game and everything. And for that reason, I am going to rate this game a 9 out of 10. It's very, very close to being perfect because in my personal opinion, I know the game's not for everyone, but I am absolutely loving the gameplay and I can't wait to see what else it offers to me. And especially when online comes out December 3rd, the only reason it doesn't hit that 10 mark is because of the bugs, the little bit of copy-paste within the recruitment missions. As I said, I would have liked a few more. The fact that online's not available at launch, and I think they could have added a little bit more variety and diversity to the perk system and the vehicles. Other than that, everything is positive. Absolutely loving this game. So again, thank you to Ubisoft for the key. On that note, that's going to do it for the video. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments. We've had some good chats and stuff about the game on stream. I've spoken to some people that are loving it, some people that don't, so let me know what you think. I will see you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.